All right, guys. So Willmott and Young, a slightly more complicated theory, but hopefully this will help you understand it a little bit better. This sheet doesn't really do it too much justice. There's a wider theory around the symmetrical family, but I'll try my best to sort of summarize it verbally for you. The first thing to note is that they are indeed functionalists. Okay, so if a question comes up, probably a 4-mark question, it's definitely worth knowing that they are functionalists. So if you are at the moment creating revision resources like flashcards or whatever, then functionalism is definitely something you need to note for Willmott and Young, because inevitably the question will be asking for you for a sort of a wider perspective of theirs. And the first thing that they'll be looking for is for you to mention that they are functionalists. Okay, so make sure you know that. So going back to their theory here, they talked about that the family is going through stages. Okay, so stages of development, if you like. The first stage that they talked about was pre-industrial. Okay, so the pre-industrial family and what it looked like. Okay, and just as a recap, the pre-industrial family was largely extended. So lots of members of the family. They were usually tied up in some sort of agriculture or farming, and they were, on the face of it, a unit of production as opposed to consumption. Okay, so that is the main thing about a pre-industrial family. They were large and they were self-sufficient. Okay, then Willmott and Young looked into the fact that it moved on to stage 2, which was the industrial family. So industrialization hit, and the nuclear family was in essence born. Okay, so families got smaller, more independent, and more able to be mobile. Okay, so that's the key thing to remember with that. More mobile, more independent, and more able to work around society. Okay, more able to sort of adapt themselves. So yeah, that's where the nuclear family came into play. But now they get into their main article in the fact that in stage 3, so moving on from the nuclear family into more modern day society, they talk about the symmetrical family. Okay, and this is where they start getting into the roles played within that family. Okay, so they're not so much looking at sort of an oppressive family unit anymore, like feminists would, like Delphi and Leonard, or even Zaretsky. They argue that when you get into stage 3 with the symmetrical family, those the conjugal roles within the family, they get shared, okay, equally amongst the male and the female, and even the children play a part as well. Okay, so there's not so much that they share all tasks amongst themselves, like the father would do the laundry or the mother would do the cooking. It's not like that. It's that they are interchangeable, okay, but they are equal in importance. Okay, so domestic work is recognized within the symmetrical family as having equal importance. Okay, so that's definitely something to take on board. Okay, so very much an equal way of living. Okay, remember, these are functionalists. Okay, they are very much sort of pie in the sky thinkers. Okay, we all know that it's not necessarily the case, but it's important that we take on board their perspective. Then this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. Okay, so I will pause the video here because I don't want to run out of time whilst I'm going off on one about this. So part 2, we'll talk about stage 4, the slightly more complicated part.